I've been sim racing for years, and a few months ago, I bought my first kart. I entered into a real race last weekend. Here's the story. Alright, so we're going to start here in qualifying. It's a 5-minute qualifying. I'm going to show you the outlap and the first lap here. Running a little higher tire pressure to help heat up those tires early, because it's pretty short qualifying. So I'm definitely a little nervous here. This is my first qualifying session at a real track with a real kart. So they spaced us out coming out of the pits. So I have a couple second gap to the guy in front of me, and there's a person you can't see a few seconds behind me. So just warming up those tires. Going to get one flying lap here early, but it's not going to be a great time. It takes a few laps for the tires to come in. And somebody went off already on the outlap in front of us. Alright, so we're running a shorter track configuration here than usual. Starts with a flat-out left-hander and then a really tricky off-camber curve. Really important to keep your speed up through the apex here, and it's flat-out through here. This curve called Daytona, flat-out as well. It's a bit of a tricky hairpin, a little bit of a lift on entry, and then back on the throttle pretty early. Exit about mid-track, and then it's all flat through here, through this carousel section, and through this left-hander. A little bit of a break here, and then flat out through the rest of the lap. So a decent time here, but I started running actually into an issue. You know, I was really expected to be at the tail end of the pack, a lot slower than the other guys here, but I actually was catching up to the two guys in front of me during qualifying. So here I decide, okay, I got a couple laps left. I'm going to build a gap. You know, there's a guy behind me, so I can't back up too far into him, but I figure 2, maybe 3 seconds. So here it is. I'm going to start a flying lap. You know, I think there's about 2 laps left here. And big issue, I catch the guy right away. So that obviously is not what I was planning. I wanted kind of clean air and a clean lap, so I actually decided to just pass him. So I have a lot more speed on him. I just passed him here. I can't quite get in front of him, so I actually am compromised for this lap. So there's only 1 lap left. I haven't really set a good time. I'm a little nervous here. So this is the last lap. And I cut this apex a little too close. Probably lose a tenth of the second, maybe 2 tenths. The front bumper scraped a little bit over that curbing there. Tuck a little bit for speed. Take this turn really well. This is good. And then I missed this apex. And I missed this one as well. So I probably left maybe 3-4 tenths out there on this lap. Checkered flag is out. And a 44.5, which is good. In practice all week I was only setting 44.9s, but I qualified 15th out of 20th. I was only 9 thousandths behind the person in front of me. So a little disappointed. I didn't have a very good lap. Only had 1 good lap, and from there we go right into the heat. So we start 2 wide here in the heat. This is a little bit of the outlap, or formation lap. Once again, just trying to get those tires heated. It's a short heat, only 8 laps. So still running a little bit higher on the tire pressures to try and warm them up. So I'm definitely nervous here. There are a lot of karts on track. I'm not all the way in the back. I'm about mid-pack. And this is my first race in my kart. And all I really want to do is finish. So we line up. And we get to go around. Aborted start. I guess we weren't close enough together. So we go around the bull ring here. And we'll be getting the real start to the heat here. And we're off. I get a great start. I'm already ahead of the guy to the right. I'm right up on the bumper ahead. And then... Alright, that's fine. Let's get back on track. And my axle's bent. Pull off to the side. I can't keep racing. Needless to say, I'm a little disappointed. But, you know, that's racing. There's still the main race, so we pack up the kart, get it pulled back to the pits, and then get to fixing an axle. Luckily, I had my dad here, who's been a mechanic for years, and we did fix it pretty quick. We were able to get a spare axle from the local karting shop, Curtis at Innovative Karting, thank you, and all set for the main race. Alright, so same thing here. I've yet to complete a lap in a race. It's my first weekend, and I want to complete a lap. I want to keep up with the pack. Starting in 19th out of 20th. And we're off. Got good momentum around the outside. And there's a guy in front that got spun around and stopped. The guy next to me hits him, and I have to swerve to avoid him. I maybe avoided him by 6 inches. So I get back on track safely. And, well, I'm about 4 seconds behind the guy in front. I didn't crash, so it looks like I'm going to complete the main race. But a little disappointed. You know, I really wanted to get some pack racing, get a little bit of experience under my belt. Looked like that wasn't going to happen. But you never know in racing. So I get into my groove, start hitting my laps, starting to get those tires warmed up. I did start the main with lower tire pressures. See some carnage off there to the left. Some of the rocks I kicked up onto the track. Whoops. And just going to try and set some good lap times. Get in a groove, be consistent, hit my apexes, use the whole track, see what happens. So as you can see here, I'm about, probably 3.5, 4 seconds behind the guy in front of me. It's a 14-lap race. But I started setting some good lap times. 44.9, 44.6, 44.3, best lap time of the day. I'm starting to close the gap to the guy in front. So now I'm within about a second. Really pushing hard here, using all the track. Tucking on the straights, reduce the drag a little bit. He makes a minor mistake, doesn't have a good exit, and I'm right up on him. So mind you, I've never passed anybody in a race. So I pass a lot of people in sim racing, but never on a real kart and a real track. I line him up here. But he's got a bit more speed on the straights, especially at the end. So I'm not going to be able to pass him on the back straight here. It's going to have to be somewhere else. So I tuck right in behind him. Oh, I'm close. I think maybe I can do it here. Nope, he's a little too fast on the straights. So I'm gonna have to do it somewhere else. He knows I'm there. And I make it stick. That was so close. I swear I might have brushed his back bumper. But I completed the pass. And the guy in front is not that far ahead. There's 14 laps, so I have 3 more laps. I think maybe I can catch him. At this point, the tires have heated up a little bit, maybe a little bit too much. So my lap times aren't as good as they were mid-stint. But I'm still catching up. A little bit more speed on the straights. Oh, and he makes a big mistake there. He's loose going in. I'm right behind him. Probably not quite enough, so I try dummy move, and he just left the door open. So I just stick it up on the inside, leave a little room on the inside there, and I made another one stick. I've passed 2 people in my first karting race. I check behind. He's pretty close, so I'm going to take a little bit of a defensive line here. He slots in behind, and he's not able to take it back. He's got 1.5 laps left here, so all I got to do is put in 1 more good lap. And I should keep both of them behind. White flag, final lap. I check behind. He's about a second behind. I think I'm going to keep it. Just don't make a mistake here. That's all I was thinking. And the race is over. That was my first karting race ever, and I gotta say, I'm so happy with the results. Somebody in front of me actually got DQ'd after the race, so I finished all the way up in 12th out of 20 different drivers. A lot of these drivers have been driving for a long time. Some of them are new, but I passed some guys that this wasn't their first race. Now, had some issues, crashed in the heat, didn't set a great qualifying lap, but overall, it was an awesome weekend. I had an absolute blast. There's nothing quite like racing in real life. So I love sim racing, but this was awesome. I'm so happy with how I did. and I'm really looking forward to racing some more in the future. I'm still about 12 pounds overweight, so working on that diet a little bit. Should shave a couple more tenths off, and who knows, maybe we'll be able to run mid-pack, maybe even at the front. But that was my first race. Thanks for watching. More to come.